Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome everyone Saki, Nora Fateh. Hi, Nora.
Hi. Oh, what an intro.
I mean, I know, of course, you have a fan in me too, because I think I've never seen anyone, kind of move like that. I think both Saif and me, whenever we see your songs, we're always like, oh my God, I don't know how this woman just does it.
Thank you. I'm hoping that maybe, soon when Taimur gets older, maybe we can think about an engagement or a marriage. Between me and him.
He's 4, and I think it's a long way to go.
It's okay, I'll wait.
So Nora, let's start from your move to India. You didn't know anyone here, you didn't know the language, your family didn't support your dreams. So what gave you the conviction to just take it on and come here?
I think there comes a point in everybody's life where you start searching for your calling, what you are meant to do. I found myself knowing what my calling is at a very young age. And I always found myself going through the direction of entertainment, performance, the arts, the world of entertainment. I connected with India and the culture and the idea of assimilating to the environment here very easily. So coming to India, despite not knowing anybody, despite not having friends or family here, and even my mom screaming at me on the phone saying, "Are you crazy? You can't travel alone," and all that stuff. I had to combat the simple stereotype of girls cannot travel alone unless they're married, and there was a very conservative type of mentality.
You have no Indian roots at all?
No, I don't have any Indian roots, but
and now you speak fluent Hindi.
So we have very Indian features, we can mix well very, So.
Our cultures are quite similar. But Nora, what does the Nora who was told that she can never make it feel when you actually see this?
Oh, it's a good question. It's mixed emotions, so many emotions that rush through my head. I feel a lot of happiness. I feel motivation to do more because you see it happening, you see the results happening, so it gives you that drive to keep moving forward. I also feel a sense of excitement because I know that somewhere this will be someone else's inspiration.
Now I want to know what has been your worst experience in this industry and और तुमने उसे कैसे handle किया?
Well, it must be the stereotyping. I think that is very complicated to maneuver because I've had many people who try to get me into a film or a song and convince filmmakers to trust my skill, but it never happened until I spoke up for myself.
Right.
And then once you've convinced them, when you land up on set, you need to convince them with your skill. And I'm sure you know, Karina, like how many types of stereotypes there are. There isn't just one. There's like a million, so it's how many do you break through? I have to convince a filmmaker that I can act or I can dance or I'm serious about my craft. And there are a lot of filmmakers who are educated enough to understand that let's give this person a chance. If they cannot perform, then it's like, okay, we can judge her on that aspect. And then there are filmmakers that I had to, really fight through in the last 6 years who unfortunately are very stuck up on typecasting and stereotyping. But one thing, Karina, I feel that in this industry there was a lot of typecasting that was happening a long time ago, but we're breaking through that.
You have millions of fans now who are going absolutely crazy over you. Has there been any change of behavior towards you, or have people who didn't believe in you apologized?
Oh my God, girl, let me tell you. There are some people in the journey who come along and really bring you down and they make you feel like you are not capable and that you're nothing. And when you do become something, they like to creep back and say, "Hey, I always knew you could do it, and sorry about that thing I said, I was tipsy or I was this." No, listen, people always like to backpedal, but you need to be smart enough to filter through those people and know who had your back from day one and who believed in you from day one, and you need to keep those people around you.
Yeah.
What I like the most is that with the success came a lot of respect, which I was craving for. The things that were said a few years ago, they're not said anymore.
No, so you've obviously broken barriers and set examples which people would, definitely look up to and follow, I'm sure. But I want to know if there was one...
Are we taking names?
Feel free, of course.
There's so many, Karina. Like, where do I begin?
Yeah, you have to
Honestly,
name one. You have to pick one.
I can't say names, but I can say one thing. There was one casting director that I met in the first few months that I came to India, and she almost made me feel like packing my bags and leaving.
Oh God, like what did she tell you? That you're never going to make it?
She said to me that there's too many people like you here, and our industry is sick and tired of people like you, and we don't want you anymore. She was screaming at me. She was shouting, we don't want you anymore, and you are talentless, we don't want you. And I was like, you know what? I totally understand where you're coming from. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I just left, and I cried so much. And I didn't ask for it because that casting director called me. I didn't even know who she was. She called me to her house, and she sat me down just to scream at me. And I was new in the country, so I was like, is this what everyone does here? Like, they just call people to scream at them.
Oh, God.
So maybe what she said to me and how she said it, maybe low-key was like a driving force. You never know.
Yeah, it kind of pushed you.
It kind of pushed me, definitely. But of course, I feel like when you take the stairs up, it is much better than taking the elevator up, because the elevator, the lift could break in out of nowhere and you can get stuck.
Right.
And you can't get out. At least with the stairs, you go up and you encounter certain things and you solve those problems.
Right.
Learning the language is very, very important. I have met a lot of artists, Karina, who are not from here, who didn't care about the language. But I didn't respect that. I think that if you come to someone's country, you need to assimilate and you need to learn.
That's amazing. Wise words from Nora Fateh. About a time where you thought you weren't going to get all of it, and then eventually you kind of, got it all.
I think it happened a couple of times. My run in the last 5 years have been constant auditioning for a film or a show or an ad or a song. And every time that rejection happens, where I'm like, no, I'm almost 100% sure I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it. And when the rejection happens, I would break and I would think, that's it, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, it can't happen. Also, when you start hearing that conversation of, nepotism and industry people and outsiders, when that conversation happens, and tends to happen a lot, it intimidates people like me, because you keep thinking, you keep getting reminded of something that you're trying to forget. When you're hustling, you don't want to remember all these things, you just want to think about, I'll put the effort, I'll do my part, and hopefully if it's destined for me, it will happen. And also, I think that I was so hungry that no matter how many failures I went through, I always said, it's okay. Maybe I didn't get this film, or maybe I didn't get this show because it wasn't good for me. And maybe something better is coming. So I trained myself mentally to think that. And I think every artist needs to believe that, because it's so funny. A lot of the things I didn't get that I cried about, they ended up being bad projects anyway. So, so I end up saying thank you,
It was a
God.
win-win.
Yeah.
But often in this industry, dancers get stereotyped and don't really progress, to acting. So what has been your experience in breaking this particular stereotype?
Unfortunately, the typecast of just being able to dance is wrong, and I have been battling this since I've come, and I want to be that, person in the industry who breaks that mentality, because dancers are multifaceted. Dancers can do so many things. I've said this before, dancers can emote without even speaking. They can make you feel feelings just through their movements and their eyes. So dancers should be given opportunities to do more than dance, because they can. And I want to prove that, I want to prove that. And if I just do a little bit of research of the history of Bollywood, most of the biggest icons in Bollywood didn't just do one thing. They didn't just act. They didn't just sing. They didn't just dance. They danced, sang, and acted, or they danced and acted.
Absolutely. Now, the next question, I mean, you can't be diplomatic, obviously.
Here we go.
And no, it's just, I mean, it's curiosity because I'm sure all your fans want to know and I want to
Tell
know.
me.
Because obviously we all see your songs and you've worked with so many choreographers. But out of everyone that you've worked with, who is your favorite and who is your most favorite co-star?
Recently, I've just worked with Ganesh Acharya, sir, and that was a lovely experience. And I've always wanted to work with him because he got a different style out of me, a different, you know. So, but having said that, of course, I think what's more important than that is the fact that a lot of these choreographers that I worked with have given me the respect to and creative freedom to also jam with them. So they allow me to work with them and not just show up to the rehearsal hall and just learn and go home. So I love the fact that they've given me that respect.
Absolutely. And what about your favorite co-star?
As of now, I would say...
Trust me, everyone's petrified of doing a song with you. I mean, I'm sure all the male actors, but they're...
Are you serious? But you know what? Like, I mean, that's amazing. That made me feel great. Like, now I'm going to go home and call my friends and tell them what you just said.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm sure. They're probably just scared that they can't dance in front of you.
But then they can sit and watch, and, you know, like how John does it. John just walks through the song and leaves, you know. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they all want to do that, trust me.
I really enjoyed working with Varun when we were doing Street Dancer because I felt Varun was very, very cool, very childlike. He didn't make me feel intimidated at all, even being new. And I think like even Shraddha and Varun together, because they've done a film together, there's that comfort, you know. It's like going to a new school and you're like the new kid. They didn't make me feel like that at all. They were very humble, very sweet, very accepting, and very encouraging. And I think that's very important for someone who's new.
When things are stressful, what is your breathe easy solution to cope with like all things stressful?
You know, music really helps me. Music and just watching people dance and, you know, just moving, dancing at home, and that really eases my stress. Also, my nephew, my brother's son, he's like 2 years old. So whenever I FaceTime him, I feel a certain level of like happiness, especially if I have like a long day. I think kids can make you grounded again and make you, you know, see the perspective of life. So there's that energy that I love. But I would definitely say music plays a huge role in my life.
That's absolutely true. And now, finally, I mean, I've asked you so much and it's been such an compelling and, you know, I mean, I've not known you. We've never met.
We've never met,
I mean, I've got such an insight into the kind of person you are.
Thank you.
No, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.